welcome back again. You're still watching us here on Nile Cruise from the Coptic Museum in Old Cairo. A huge cultural and artistic program has been launched by the Egyptian Ministry of Culture to celebrate Cairo as the capital of the Islamic culture in 2020. Now, the celebration aims at spreading the Islamic culture as well as renewing its content and reviving its message to the glories of the importance of this culture worldwide. To talk more about this, we're very delighted to have joining us Dr. Alaa Ahmed Bakir, who's an archaeologist. Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you very much, and I have the honor to be with you today.
Yes, the honor is all ours. Dr. Alaa, if we can speak about the reason behind choosing Cairo as the capital of Islamic culture for 2020, why was that?
Well, actually, the selection of ISESCO for Cairo as the capital of Islamic culture capital reflects Egypt's strength and affirms the important and prestigious role of it in the heart of the Islamic world, whether as a crossroads for cultures in this huge region. And of course, Cairo is one of the most important capitals and one of the most important and largest heritage cities in the whole world. It was founded in the Fatimid period, and it continued to progress in the different Islamic era. Actually, what distinguishes Cairo is that its strategic site, of course, in addition to that it includes monuments and different religions and a large number of monuments and historical buildings from all over from all ages, and also
the importance of promoting cultural dialogue among different civilizations. And as you said, Egypt is in a very outstanding geographical location. So how is that an addition to the reputation of Egypt worldwide?
Well, actually, of course, with this large number of Islamic architecture and unique Islamic architecture in Cairo, this city is considered as a very, very distinctive city, and this selection is very important. And also, I think that one of the most important reasons for this selection of Cairo city is that the interest of the Egyptian government with the antiquities in this city, and of course it reflects the glory and the splendor of the city.
Yes, what are the biggest attractions in Cairo in terms of Islamic architecture?
Of course, Al Mu'izz Street come to on the top of the list, and also because it's considered as an open museum. It contains a lot of architecture from all over from all the ages, and also
there's different Islamic eras that are being reflected through these different museums and monuments that you've correctly mentioned here in Egypt. Renovating them recently and thinking of preserving them and making sure that they are in their right condition is also the efforts that the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Tourism have been exerting. How do you evaluate the performance from here to all of these ministries, the Ministry of Culture, Antiquities and Tourism, in this regard?
Of course, the role of Ministry of Culture and the Tourism Ministry is very important in preserving monuments and Islamic architecture in this city. We now have a great projects for renovation of this Islamic architecture, just like the wall of Magra Al Ayun now have a great project for its renovation, and a lot of other renovation projects in that city.
Yes, right now we are located at the Coptic Museum in Old
Yes.
Cairo, and right across the street is Amr ibn al-As Mosque. What is the significance or in terms of architecture, Islamic architecture here in Cairo? Amr ibn al-As, how do you see it as a mosque?
The most important characteristics of this mosque is, of course, the courtyard architecture style or type, which is taken from the prototype of Prophet Muhammad Mosque, peace be upon him, and of course. The Muslim architect took into consideration the hot weather of Egypt, so this type of architecture, which is a courtyard in the center and which is surrounded by four riwaks for preserving the worshippers from sunlight, and of course the existence of this mosque in this region, which is called the religion complex, with the monasteries and the churches and the Coptic Museum, is very distinctive in Egypt, in Cairo.
As a doctor in archaeology, I would like to take this opportunity to ask you, from an educational perspective, how is education playing an important role today in helping to both preserve and promote the Islamic and Coptic culture in Egypt?
Well, actually, I can talk about the education role of the museums, especially as I'm working as a responsible of the education department in the Royal Carriages Museum at the Citadel, and we have made a lot of activities and events for children to raise their awareness of the importance of the museums and the artifacts in them, and also the architecture, especially the Islamic architecture, which don't have a lot of interest in the local or the outside communities. So we have to market for these artifacts and raise awareness of the children to feel that these artifacts is their identity and represents a very important matter in their country.
Yes, Egypt is full of treasures everywhere, all over the country, and of course we need renovation of those treasures in different regions of different eras as well. How do you see the efforts of the government now to be renovating those treasures? Maybe we are close to Al Fustat as well, to the new civilization museum. We've been there. How do you see the new efforts of the government and the efforts of renovation of the treasures that we already have now?
Of course, the efforts of the government is very visible to anyone in the interest of opening new museums and renovating the old museums or the old Islamic architecture or even any other antiquities in Egypt. Actually, it's very important to the local community to see this interest of the government to know the importance of these treasures in our country, and to preserve them and to visit them and to market for them in the whole world.
Yes, I'm building up also on what Ahmed said, Doctor. A lot of people, including Egyptians who live here, are not aware of the places that have not been discovered yet or have not been shed light on. In terms, again, from your field of experience, what kind of activities or awareness programs do you do to shed light on this place and sort of promote it also internationally, especially as we're talking about Egypt being the Islamic culture of 2020 capital?
Well, actually, there are a lot of activities for the children and for the local community to relate them with the museums and the architecture, and a lot of tour guides for all of them are made by us in the Ministry of Antiquities, and also the Ministry of Culture make a lot of activities. Also, we invite the orphanage children to come to our museum and to come to other districts in Egypt to know more about them and know more about their culture and their heritage, to preserve it and to love it and to feel in love with their country and their history.
And the final question for me today was about the Grand Egyptian Museum. As we are starting 2020, Cairo is being chosen as the Islamic capital of culture, and I would like to ask about 2020 as a year for tourism and antiquities here in Egypt. The opening or the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum, how do you see it? And how do you see the year in general?
I actually see this year as a very distinctive year. A lot of people all over the world is waiting for the inauguration of the gem. And a lot of friends of mine is waiting for this wonderful integration, of course, that will be. And this is a very wonderful harmony to choose Cairo in this year as the capital of Islamic culture, and also a lot of integrations other than the gem, just like museums, other museums in the new capital, and also in Sharm el-Sheikh, and a lot of other museums will be integrated. And actually, in the end, I want to invite the viewers to visit these places and to enjoy the wonderful and the splendor of the architecture and arts in their country, and the wonderful Islamic places that is very forgotten in the local community. So I would have to be happy with that.
Great. Dr. Alaa, Ahmed Bakir, archaeologist, thank you very much for joining us here on
Thank you
Nile Cruise.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still here with you, Nile Cruise, from the Coptic Museum in Old Cairo. Stay tuned after this break.